Good morning, students, and welcome to today's lessons. I believe strongly that you are all fit, kicking, and well. Wonderful. We've come to another day with another lesson. But today's lesson is going to be a continuation of the clauses we studied. You remember that we dealt with noun clauses. And we said noun clauses have 5 functions. 1, subject of a verb. 2, object of a verb. 3, complement of a verb. 4, object of preposition. And 5, in apposition to a noun. We began with the subject function. And we said that with the subject function, the clause must precede or come before the verb in the sentence. Then we also said that with the object function, the clause must come after the verb in the sentence. Good. So always take note of the fact that the function is never taken from the clause itself, but outside. So don't think that in the clause there is a verb there, and so that is the function. No. Outside the clause, the verb in question is what is used to determine the function. So when it is placed before the verb, then it is subject. When it is placed after the verb, then it is object. As you know, subject mostly and always begins sentences, whilst object and sentences. For example, the teacher beats the boy. The teacher beats the boy. There is action going on here, and that is beaten, and that is the verb. So who beats the boy? That is the teacher. So the teacher performed the action. So the teacher is the subject. Who received this action of beating? And that is the boy. So the boy becomes the object. So the teacher is the subject because it precedes the verb that is beat, whilst the boy is the object. It comes after the beat. So in this sense, the noun, the teacher, is subject of that verb, beat, whilst the boy, the object. So the function is object of the verb beats. Well done. Good. So we continue with the next function, and that is complement of a verb. Complement of a verb. Good. If you should know, certain verbs give complements, and they are called linking verbs. They are called linking verbs. Examples of such linking verbs are is, am, are, was, were, become, seem, etc., etc. So, if we have a noun clause which is placed after any of these linking verbs, then we say that it functions as complement of that verb. So if we have a noun clause placed after is, we consider it to be complement of the verb is. If we have it placed after was, we say complement of the verb was. But here, take note of this. When the noun clause comes before any of these linking verbs, we cannot say it is complement of a verb, but rather subject of a verb. So subject of the verb is, subject of the verb was, subject of the verb become. It is only when it is placed after a linking verb that it becomes complement. So take note of this. Good. Let us have the following examples. This house is where we live for 2 years. Good. So we have the underlying words as where we lived for 2 years. So with this, we realize that it begins with where. And for that reason, since it is a noun clause, placed after the linking verb is, we say the function is complement of the verb is. And you place it in inverted commas. Let us have another example. They become what the citizens dislike. So, what the citizens dislike becomes the clause in question here. So, why is it a noun clause? 1, it begins with what? Next, we can also say that when we replace it with who or what, it becomes meaningful. So, they become what? Good. With this, we confirm that it is a noun clause. If it is a noun clause, what then is the function? We can say that since it is coming after, or it is placed after a linking verb become, we say it is complement of that verb. So, complement of the verb become, and in inverted commas. Good. Then we will look at the next one, and that is object of preposition. Now, give me example of any preposition that you know. I know you have said into, for, from, behind, beside, above, with, to, and so on and so forth. Good. And I know you are mentioning the rest of the prepositions. Good. Here, if we have any noun clause which is placed after any preposition, then we say it functions as object of that preposition. So either we call it prepositional object or object of preposition. That is the next function. So let us consider the following examples. The doctor found me for what I did. Another example. It is a reference to what we have treated before. if we look at these two examples on the board, the doctor thanked me for what I did. If you want to underline the noun clause in this, what are you going to underline? If you want to underline the noun clause in this sentence, the doctor thanked me for what I did, I know for sure you've now got it, saying we have to underline what I did. Good. If you look at what I did, you realize that it is placed after the preposition for. So since it is placed after the preposition for, we say that it is objects of the preposition for. Good. The second example, it is a reference to what we have treated before. What we have treated before becomes the noun clause. What then is its function? And since what we have treated before is placed after the preposition to, we say the function is object of the preposition to, and to in inverted commas as usual. Good. So we are now coming to the final function, and that is in apposition to a noun. So here, in apposition to a noun function, two nouns are involved. We have the noun clause, and that noun clause explains or makes reference to another noun. So that is why we are saying a noun clause in apposition to another noun. So either we have noun as a word or noun as a phrase and a noun clause. So in this sense, when you even take away the noun clause, we realize that the sentence remains meaningful. The sentence remains meaningful because the noun clause is a reference or explains the first noun, which is in appositive to. Good. Let us look at the following examples. Example 1. The idea that my father wants to impose his will on people is not true. Another example. The fact that I will travel abroad is not true. The fact that I will travel abroad is not true. Very good. Let's come back to the first example we have on the board. The idea that my father wants to impose his will on people is not true. And we have that my father wants to impose his will on people. That my father wants to impose his will on people becomes the noun clause. And like I stated earlier, if you take away the clause, we realize that the sentence remains meaningful, the remaining words. So we are left with the idea is not true. So if we say the idea is not true, which idea? Then you realize that this will explain the idea in question. So idea is a noun. And since this clause explains this idea, we say that the noun clause is in opposition to the noun idea. So in opposition to the noun idea, an idea in inverted commas. The second example, the fact that I will travel abroad, let's make it. The fact that I will travel abroad is not known to my friends. The fact that I will travel abroad is not known to my friends. Good. So the clause here becomes that I will travel abroad. So if we take away the clause from the sentence, we realize that the remaining also become meaningful. So we have the fact is not known to my friends. So the question then is, which fact are you talking about? And the fact is that I will travel abroad. So that I will travel abroad is in reference to the noun facts. And so we say that the noun clause is in opposition to the noun facts, and you place it in inverted commas. That is wonderful. So today we come to the concluding part of the clauses that we have studied, and to be precise, the noun clause and their functions. We have looked at 5 functions in all. We looked at the noun clause as subject of a verb, and we identified that when we realized that the noun clause was placed before the verb in question. Then, when the noun clause is placed after the verb, we say it is object of that verb. Good. When the noun clause is placed after a linking verb, then we say it is complement of a verb. On the other hand, when the noun clause is placed before a linking verb, it cannot be a complement, but rather subject of a verb. Right. When the noun clause is placed after any preposition, then we say it is object of that preposition. And finally, when the noun clause makes reference or explains another noun, then we say that the noun is in opposition, the noun clause is in opposition to the noun in question. We have had a very wonderful and exciting exercise and lessons. I believe you have really enjoyed it. As usual, I refer you to go to the net, go to the Internet Study Mates. You'll find a detailed note of what we have discussed. Make reference to it, study it carefully for better understanding. At the end, we have some exercise there. Try your hands on. Post it. Let me look at it and receive your feedback. Thank you. Bye-bye.